Okay, hello, welcome back. It's the second episode of our little series of tutorials. Um, it's been over a month since I made the last episode, I think. It was somewhere like at the end of November. So I'm really lost. I don't know what I've said in the previous episode. I haven't used Photoshop much lately. Um, So I actually decided to do a little bit of test run um, before the episode, and I'm thinking if like if that would be a recurring recurring thing in our videos, because this might be a cool feature, like having the base picture, and then before actually starting any work on it, I would show you the finished version, something that I've already done. So we would have those targets, those something that we want to achieve, and also we would use it to like as some references during the video. Um, I'm going to try to do this, but we'll see. If you like it, then yeah, sure, I can try it. So basically, this is the episode. I've said it previously in the previous episode that in this one we are going to be doing the pulling effect. And obviously, this fine Asian lady was so kind enough for us to make her hand into a perfect position. And this is the first thing that you need to like focus on. So finding the right picture. Don't try some stupid things like you don't have to make your life harder. It's really not necessary. So obviously she has her hand in a like pinching position, I guess. Whatever. Um so this is what I've come up with. It's cool, I guess. Um It's still not perfect in my opinion. It has some flaws, and it was extremely rushed because I've done this yesterday basically. So yes, but this is our um our goal, I guess. Anyway, so let's start very quickly because I very quickly um am lost and don't have enough words, I guess. So I start talking stupid things, like saying stupid things, like I don't want to even. Whatever. I'm already starting this. Anyway, so let's start. Let's start um, with layer work. So as you can see, obviously this pinching position, she's going to have her um, skin or her mask, yeah, stretched between like the point of pressure is going to be between her thumb and her like the second finger. I don't know what it's called in English. Um, so we need to have this finger on top. Like, I mean, it's easier for us to have this finger on top as a separate layer, I guess. So let's start very quickly erasing this. I want to be this as fast as possible. Okay, very quick, very cool. Hold on, because I don't actually. Ah, okay. So it's like this. Cool, cool, cool. And here as well. Okay, okay. And I think that any further is not really necessary. So this is what we wanted to achieve more or less. And we also want uh, like let me show you this part. So her like the frame of her glasses. Uh, let's make it easier by I don't actually know. Oh, this is this one. Let's make it easier by actually selecting this point, this part of her frame, and you're going to see in a while why this is maybe not super important, but why this is going to help our life significantly. So there you go. Okay, cool, I guess. Yeah, that's going to be fine, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now let's start with the Gucci part, I guess. Um, let's take our clone stamp tool, select it to all layers, and make a new layer, transparent layer. And then you can choose something close to the edge of her skin and paint it in a way so that we get her skin stretched out, and don't really care about colors, like the difference in colors, it's not as important, at least for now. Just try to make, just don't take like fucking black or whatever, just take this part so it's the closest to this to the part where we are working right now. So yeah. Another thing when you are doing those stretches, remember about how physics work in real life. It's obviously not possible to replicate them perfectly, but just know that just don't try to make the skin look very stiff, I guess. That's what I'm doing very often. So make the angle, like make the stretched the stretch a little bit more curvy rather than just a straight line, okay? Like, okay, something like this, yeah? Just make it a little bit like, you know, yeah? Anyway. Okay, let's do this like that. Whoops, I've done a mistake here. Okay. And let's see if it is close. Yeah, it's almost the same, basically. What we can do is make it a little bit more like this. Okay, let's join it together. Okay, and we're fine. Yay, go us. Let's work on the other part, and okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, this is the right layer. Good. um, and let's work on the other part on the other side. There you go, something like this. I think it's okay. Maybe even a little bit higher. Okay, cool. Okay, I think it's fine. And then just fill the center. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, we have those weird edges, and just don't care about them for now. We are going to like make it look cool with our healing tool in a while. So just don't worry about this. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Uh, so it looks it looks weird, but it's basically how it should look like. Because what we are going to do now is use our healing tool. So healing tool works basically the same as the clone stamp, but healing tool like is kind of like a blur, I guess. It join like joins the neighboring colors together, I guess. Um, so obviously you choose a texture, or somewhere from this position as well. It doesn't really matter, and just bind over several times. Sometimes you will have to do it several times, but it's just make it as many times as it is required to look good, and it's obviously um, up to you, right? I won't tell you like you will have to see it for yourself. You will have to see if this looks good or not by yourself. I won't be sitting there with you and telling you if those colors look nice or not. So um yeah, let's do it very quickly. Okay, that looks somewhat decent. Okay, cool. Okay, and here as well. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. That's okay, I guess. So what we are going to do now? Um, I'm going to, because this looks really weird in this part. So let me just fix it really quickly. Okay, there you go, and use the healing tool as well. Okay, that's fine in my opinion. Cool. Okay. Um. So now let's add ourselves a little bit of maybe let's use the burn tool, I guess, and let's add a little bit of shadow under her frame. Uh-huh. Okay, it looks a little bit more passable. Let me just... Okay. Okay, cool. So, I'm going to use a razor to make the edges a little bit smoother here and there. Just some very, very minor changes. Okay. Sure, that's fine. So, now, because this, we took it, like, we took the sample from the part of her, like, head that was a little less lightened. What I like to do is to show that it's really a thing, like make it as close to reality as possible. So I'm going to add some extra highlights over here. Um, okay. Um, let me uh, let me use a little bit of the brush tool, because what I actually forgot about is that it is a new layer, and using the dodge tool isn't going to work as planned. So let me just, okay, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, cool. So we want to make this stretched skin look like it's really 3D, look like it's real. So this is why we are adding those lights. Let me make it. Okay, cool. Yes, yes, good. Yeah, it's looking good, but obviously you have to kind of do trial and error over here, because of the opacity. Some parts are a little bit more white and some are a little bit darker, I guess, but it's fine. It's fine, baby. Okay, so I guess that looks fine. What I also added in this picture, and I'm going to add as well in our picture, is obviously the shadow on the edges. So let's do it as well. Let's use burn tool in this one and just, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. And let's also use brush tool, but with black color, to add a little bit of shadow underneath her finger. Okay. That looks cool, I guess. That looks cool. And behind her finger as well. There you go. Cool, cool. Um anyway. Uh let me just do some more improvements. Yes, cool. Very cool. And this part is really annoying, so let me just paint over it and have it like done, and I won't have to come to this again. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay, yeah. Okay. Uh, that's cool. So, basically, what we've done here is like a finished version. Like, if you want the simplest of pulls, then this is probably what you want to like achieve. But we are not done. At least I am not done. So if you want to have something a little bit advanced, then you can stick around. Um, this is the simplest of pulls. Just and one more thing. On layer one, uh, let's use bird tool to add a little bit of shadow underneath the skin itself, so that you can see um, the edge of the skin, right? So basically, that's the simplest, the most basic type of manipulation that you can do with pulling. And as you can see, it's basically the same as in here. Okay, it's a little bit in this one it's a little bit more like, I think it's a little better also because it's slightly less angled in here, but I wouldn't say this is a bad manipulation anyway. So obviously, as I said, this is uh, our like this is our simplest, the most basic manipulation that we can do. But if you look closely, we have two main differences between those two pictures. So first one is obviously her eyelid or like eye hole or whatever. Obviously pulling her skin, like stretching her skin, is going to, especially like in cheek, like if she grabs on her cheek, obviously her eyelid is going to be affected if it's really a mask, right? Um, so we are going to be doing this now. Also, I added one thing to make it a little bit more like real, I guess. And this is, I extended her lip, or both lips actually, as you can see. Yes, yes. Okay, anyway, so let's start working on the eyelid. Yes. So one thing that is easier in her case is that her eyelid, like her this part is a little bit more like lightened, and this is going to be really helpful in our case because we can just select this part. Let's try to not select her, not select her her glasses frames. Okay, cool. Let's move it a little bit. Let's erase the remnants of her eye. Okay. Um. Cool. Cool. And let's use, I think it was warp tool. So it if you don't know how warp tool works, is it where it warps your layer or picture uh, accordingly to those points of pressure, I guess. So this is going to make our life a lot easier because we can connect the um, this part, right, to her like real eye or whatever, right? So it just looks Gucci. Um, let's try to actually slightly rotate it. Yeah, I think it's okay. Um, and then obviously what you need to do is just heal it a little. And it's going to look just fine. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, cool. I think it's fine. Um, what I've done in here is, let me show you. From the first layer, I selected um, this kind of shape, I guess. Just, Jesus, I can't do this. Like something like this, okay? I actually fucked it up, so I'm really good. Jesus. Okay, okay. Something like this, okay? I obviously copied, I obviously pasted it in, and I then changed the tone, the color, just as we've done in the previous episode. So it's up to you how you wanna like work around it, I guess. So this is um I actually um okay, let's not make it as dark, I guess. Let's make the hmm, I'm trying to find the right tool to do this, so just give me a while. Color balance. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Let's just do it with this, I guess. Okay, cool. Um, then I obviously added some shadows underneath this part, right? So let's do this as well. I select the black um, color and just paint it very carefully. Okay, if you think that the contrast between this part and her, like the mask part, is a little bit too low, then don't worry, we are going to work on that just in a second. So cool, very cool indeed, very cool. And let's work on this as we promised. Okay, let's choose the white and just paint it over. Cool. And then select the first layer and just do the same on the edges over here. And it's gonna be decent, at least in some way. Okay, there you go. That's basically what I've done. This is just the same technique, as you can see, right? Basically the same. Okay, cool. So next, this part. This was the newest addition. I actually added it today, so yay, go me. And it's not that it's not that hard. Just make it. Whoops! I think I just make it go in this direction, right? It doesn't really matter how. Just make it go in this direction. Cool. Cool. And then obviously you can just go ahead and add some healing here and there. You can add blur so the edges are a little bit more how real life works. You can also use some shadow. Cool. And then you can paint over the darkest part. Yay. Where is it? It was layer 4, so let's do it on layer 4 as well. Okay. I'm actually painting it over because why the fuck not? You can't possibly see that it's that much of a difference. So there you go. See, that's how it works. This video is such a mess, holy shit. Anyway, like if we go to some similar, yeah, you can see there's not much of a difference. In fact, this is probably better lightened, I guess. Yeah, this is better lightened than what I've done today. So, or like, yeah, Ariel, I guess. And yeah, so there you go. This is the difference between the two. As you can see, it's looking pretty cool. Both of those versions look okay. So there you go. You can now see what I've done. Obviously, if you want to add some things from the previous episode or some other episodes maybe even, you can obviously like make it a mask. So just you know, before anything, just start and do, you know, like there you go, something like this, okay? And as we've done in the previous episode, just apply some shadows and highlights so it seems like it's the edge of the mask or whatever. It's entirely up to you. You can just use whatever you want. I just showed you the simplest technique. of how you can make this pulling effect, and I think it worked out pretty cool. You need to, what I think is the worst, like the hardest part is working out with the right tone, the right like lighting, I guess. And because I've seen people like Konzi do uh, weird lighting mistakes, and I'm not saying that it's bad, because I think that you learn the most on your own mistakes, and you really need to work things out. And if you want to make your photo manipulations look as close to reality as possible, then you just have to grind it out. You have to work on it constantly and like do trial and error, right? Just try different ways to shadow things and how they look like as close to possible, as close as possible to the real life, because in my opinion this isn't still like real life looking that much, I guess. it's it's definitely like believable, okay, but trying out with shadowing things and make using the right tone, it's uh, it's something you have to work out by yourself. I just can't tell you that because I wouldn't even be able to describe this properly, I think. Um yeah. So there you go. Uh if you actually have any questions whatsoever after what you've seen, um like I haven't explained something properly or whatever, just please comment it down. Will I know I might have missed so many things, and this tutorial is just step by step. It isn't explaining everything basically. So I don't know what's the point of this. But just try to leave a comment of what I missed in explaining, and I will try to reply you back, because I think that the beauty of this tutorial is that by doing step by step um, you can see some techniques, and they are going to be really helpful, and you don't have to like, obviously you need some explaining, but you don't have to be like, I could have just basically for the entire episode I could have opened up this uh, work that I've done previously and just show you what I've done and just try to explain it, right? But just by doing this step by step, you can clearly see what I've done, what technique I used, and what you can use by yourself, just changing a little bit or whatever you want, right? So I think that's the beauty of it, and obviously if I missed something, just I will explain it in the comments. Um, but I think it's like showing it step by step just explains a lot by itself. So I hope you explain it. I'm just going crazy right now, but because I'm trying to like record it for like for the fifth time, I think. But yeah, the next episode. Let's talk about the next episode. We are going to do standalone mask slash like holding a mask or whatever, and I'm going to show you it later. So if you have any questions, just leave them down, as I said, and see you in the next episode, I guess. Hey.